In this morning's Business Insight, a Newtown restaurant with a mission is doubling its footprint in order to double the meals it makes and the people it feeds. La Soupe currently operates out of 900 square feet in Newtown, and construction is underway to add another 900 square feet. What's fueling the expansion is La Soupe's Bucket Brigade program, which feeds people living in food insecurity. La Soupe produces about 1,600 servings a month, and the expansion will allow it to make up to 3,500 servings. We are delighted to have with us Susie DeYoung, owner and chef at La Soupe. She is with Business Watch producer Kelly Leon in the studio. Susie and Kelly.
Thanks, Peg. And Susie, yes, I'm so delighted to have you here. I've been to your restaurant, or should I call it a restaurant? I've gotten soup at your place.
We have a table.
Yes, you do have a table
and
there.
we have a counter.
It's fantastic. So let's begin. Peg mentioned the term food insecurity. Explain to us what that means.
That would be the kids that actually do not know where their next meal is coming from. They're the kids that are relying on the schools to feed them breakfast and lunch, which leaves dinner and weekends where these kids that might not have any food at all.
So how does the program work? How do you reach those children?
We've got a great network right now with a lot of the different schools themselves, with the resource coordinators. Today I think we're at 13 different locations delivering soups that are frozen, made by the chefs throughout the city, which is really the greatest part of it, I think, is that I've been managed to be able to get everybody involved on some level of commitment, either as a driver, as a chef, as a volunteer cook. People ladling and labeling the containers for us.
So you take the soup directly to
the schools,
the children, the schools that need it.
And then we'll take as well, like we get a lot of produce. So today we had so much head lettuce, fresh fruit, bread we rescue on Thursdays from Stravati's. So they will get a loaf of bread. So hopefully, you know, the package will have a dinner. A complete meal for a family.
So, and you said the word rescue. I like that too, this idea of food rescuing, and you work with other restaurants and chefs in the city. Talk a little bit about how that process works and who you're working with.
Well, our first grocery store was Kroger. So Kroger's, we're in 2 of the Krogers only, or 3 now, I'm sorry, 3. And we are at Jungle Gyms and CrossFit Produce out in Independence, Kentucky. So we pick up from 5 or 6 different grocery stores. And then we take that and deliver that to various restaurants. Big problem that we've kind of found is that food pantry, the clients that are served at the food pantries, don't know how to use the food, but chefs do. So food pantries are being forced to throw away perfectly good food, just like you and I throw away. There's food waste at every level, but let's try to teach, if this is a food that they're looking at, then let's utilize that food and try to teach them how to use the food that they see every day. So that's pretty much the way that we've gone about it. And we're up to, I think it's 15 chefs in the city every single week take the challenge. And then we have a host of another maybe 20 that will take the soup, take the food when they can. There's not any kind of pressure. It's meant to be a good tool for their new cooks to learn how to use knife skills and on produce that really it won't ultimately matter. Also for people that want to get creative and might not be able to in their own kitchen, they can create with our food and create something nutritious.
How did you start this in the first place? I mean, you're the ringleader.
I know.
Because I'm thinking, how are you keeping all these balls going?
It is a lot of balls. I was a caterer for 30 years with my sister at La Petite Pierre. And we ran that company together for years, but I've always had this vision that there's so much food being wasted. Why is somebody not utilizing that to simply feed people? And after, you know, it was a hard decision to leave the security of what I've known to try to start this, but I think the time is ripe. I think people are fed up with hearing and hearing and hearing how much food gets wasted and then trying to figure out why isn't anybody doing it? I got kind of tired of asking myself that, so I just jumped in.
And you're also creating jobs through this process.
So we've been able to, the kids that are eating real food then start asking the pertinent questions, and then they wanted to learn. So we have a group that we call the Cincinnati Gives a Crock. Those kids, it started at Euler, we're in like 5 different schools now. We got a grant, so we bought some crock pots. A lot of people have donated crock pots as well. We give the kids a crock pot, and teach them how to use it using the rescued produce, and then they bring dinner home to their families. And so they're cooking for their family of 6, which is very empowering to a lot of these kids. My favorite quote, I think, was when one of the little boys said, "For the first time in my life, I was a hero of my family." And that's what you're aiming for.
Yeah.
But then they started getting interested in what is cooking. And, you know, a lot of the kids have never been in a restaurant and been served a proper meal, so why would they want to work in a restaurant?
Right.
So I took 4 of the boys from Euler down to visit different restaurants in the city. And Jean Robert at the table hired 2, and Orchids hired 1.
Fantastic.
And they're all still, well, actually there's been a switch, but there's still 3 of them working full-time.
We are unfortunately running out of time. We could go on and on. If people want to find you, look on Facebook and Twitter, La Soup, and you're going to be out in your mobile van. Look for the Soupmobile. Check it out. Susie, thanks so much for being here. Just thank you for the work you're doing. It's fantastic.
Thanks, Kelly.